Hey, this is Barry Pointer, and I'm here in my studio in North Hollywood, Riott House Studio. I'm going to do some tracking today with Mr. Glen Sobel on drums from Hollywood Vampires and Alice Cooper. We're going to be tracking through some phenomenal warm audio mic pre's. We're going to do the 73 EQs, we're going to do the 412 as well as the tone beast on the kit on a fairly minimal setup, and see what kind of sounds we can get.
Hi, my name's Glen Sobel. I play drums for Alice Cooper and also the Hollywood Vampires. Those are my touring gigs. So what we're doing today is a studio demo to show off what these microphones can do, as well as the mic pre's. We've got a nice big room to work with, so we have a lot of options with microphone placement, and the sounds that we're getting obviously are influenced by a lot of certain classic rock records. So we're going for that big, huge sound. So what you're hearing in this recording, it's just straight up the drum sounds. There's no samples blended in, no kick and snare samples. We use these warm audio mics and mic pre's to achieve a sound and get it right from the beginning, not to end up where we have to blend in samples of kick snares to get the sound that we want. That shouldn't be anybody's goal, to just end up throwing a bunch of post-production manipulation onto a recording. These microphones and mic pre's helped us get this sound right from the beginning and maintain that throughout until the end of the mix.
Okay, here we are. We have tracked everything, and I'm going to sample out some of these drum sounds for you. The first thing to know on this is no drum samples. This is strictly the player, the kit, the mics into these fantastic mic pre's. I have done a little bit of EQing, a little bit of plug-in work and stuff so that we can show the type of sound that we were going for, that we were able to get out of this. Let's break down this a little bit, and I'm going to solo out these drums so you can hear what's going on. So first thing to point out, I guess, here is for, I'll tell you what mics we use and such. For the kick drum, for the kick in, we use a D112 through the warm 73 EQ. For the out kick, we use the warm audio 47 Junior, the FET mic. And then that one is running here through the tone beast. Snare top, it is a transformerless 57, which if you haven't tried one on a snare, you have to do it. It's incredible. That is also running through the warm 73 EQ. The snare bottom, we have running through a BAE 312 down here. Not used very much in this mix at all. For the hat, we have a Shure 137, SM137, and that's going through the first channel of the 412, the warm 412. The rack and the floor toms are both mic'd with 421s, and they are going through the 73 EQs. The overheads, both of those are the AKG 451s, and also running through the 412. And for the mono room is the warm audio WA87, and that is going through here as well. And in the mix, which I'll solo out, that thing is really, it's squashed, it's distorted, and it sounds killer. So here, here's the kit on its own. Okay, so I think one thing that really, when it comes to the drum sound on this song, is the snare, and I think most all of us will agree, drum sound, particularly your kick and the snare, can make or break anything. And so with this one, again, we're using a transformerless SM57 on the top. Nothing fancy, just a couple of inches in on the snare, about 1.5 inches up, pointed to the middle, pretty standard setup. But running here through the warm, the 73 EQ, with the EQ engaged, nothing on the low end. Did bring up just a little bit in the mids or on the 360 setting, and then on the highs to really accentuate that crack. Up on the 12K, we added a bit there. Did have the roll off set at 80, and the magic tone button in. Again, the magic tone button. I use that so much. It really just, when you think you have the sound, this is exactly what I want, then you hit that and you're like, oh, there it is. Now that's where it goes. So there's that. And then again, same thing with the kick. You know, that kick has such punch to it, but it's a full rounded sound that, again, we were going for something that's a little more back 70s type tone. So using the EQ, boosting a little bit at down around 60 hertz. We did bring in the mids. What did we set on here? The mids. We are up at 48. Yeah, about 4K on that. And then the highs, we brought some of those in. No tone button on that one. Wasn't necessary. Toms, we heard those. The toms are thundering. Again, just a little bit of EQ. We did boost the low end on the floor tom. We boosted a little mids, and we rolled back the highs on both of those. We didn't want any clickiness in those things whatsoever. We wanted the natural tone of those to ring and ring out. We wanted that to hold out, to fill in after the drums were hit. Pretty simple setup over here with the hats and the overheads. Nothing special. Just dialed in the gain, and we brought the volume up to where it was needed. That was it. So the 73 versus the 412, you're going to get a little bit of color here, which that vintage color, which is great. Running things like the kick snare, the toms and such, having the EQ is great because you can really fine tune those things and dial them in. Bring out the tone of the drums. If you're getting a little too much, obviously you can roll back on that stuff going in. But over here on the 412, it's just a great, clean pre. And with the hats, with the cymbal related stuff and the room stuff, I'm not looking to really shape that sound too much going in. If I need to do something with it, I can do it, after it's in here. So being able to just capture the natural sound of the kit through the overheads, the natural sound of the cymbals ringing out and capturing the room is what I really love about this, about the 412 versus some of the other options. Okay, so the other thing to point out too as well is that mono room mic out there that we use, the WA-87. It was set about it's about 12 feet or so from the kit, and it raised a little higher. Didn't want to catch too much low end in it, so it's coming in a little bit over the drummer's head to catch a little more of a balance there. But going in, running it through the WA-76, and just really driving it hard through here to give it the saturation that you heard in here, the crunch, without adding any kind of a distressor or anything else like that on it. That all came from here. So it's a great, it's a great combination. Especially even we'll use the 76 at times on a room mic that is stuck in another room or down the hall or up pointing at the ceiling or something like that. Any of those types of things where it's meant to bring in just a piece of the room in some kind of a manipulated way. we're always running it through the 76. And as you can see, we've got an old vintage thing right here that just doesn't really get the love because this thing does the job. It's perfect.